Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is January 14th, 2026. I got the year right, let's go. And today we're going to be talking about how Josep Maria Bartomeu has rejected Florentino Perez's request for Barcelona's financial documents. Also, we're going to talk about how much money Barcelona made from last season's Champions League. And finally, Barcelona could be receiving a cash injection during this winter transfer market. I'm going to tell you how. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Boo. We'll begin this video with the news that Josep Maria Bartomeu has rejected Florentino Perez's request for Barcelona's financial documents. Now, as you know by now, because we've covered it extensively on this channel, Real Madrid's president Florentino Perez increased his attacks against Barcelona after Barcelona abandoned him and his failed project of the Super League. But not only did he attack Barcelona through multiple speeches invoking the Negreira case, but also his legal team submitted an official request to the judge overseeing the Negreira investigation, requesting copies of Barcelona's auditing receipts from 2010 to 2018. And he also requested all of Barcelona's annual accounts from 2001 to 2018. Now, these are documents that Barcelona had already submitted to the investigative judge. And today, Josep Maria Bartomeu, the former Barcelona president, through his legal team, submitted a document rejecting Real Madrid's request, alleging that Real Madrid are exploiting the legal proceedings to obtain private documents and access privileged information. Now, Bartomeu's legal team also argued that this request by Real Madrid is driven by sporting rivalry rather than legal necessity. So in other words, Bartomeu telling Florentino Perez, go kick rocks. We already submitted all the relevant information to the presiding judge and to the prosecutor's office. You have no right to look at our private documents. Now, in case Florentino Perez is concerned or is curious about how much money we're making, don't worry, Florentino, I got you, bro. Because right now, I'm going to tell you about how much money Barcelona made in the Champions League last season. So Florentino Perez, if you're watching, subscribe, bro. I got you. Don't worry. I'll tell you how much more money we made than your pathetic club. About Barcelona in the 2024-2025 Champions League season made a whopping 116 million and 562,000 euros. They were the fourth highest earning team in the European competition, 436,000 less than Arsenal. Arsenal were in third place with 160,998,000. In second place, we have one of the finalists, Inter Milan, at 136,620,000. And finally, the winner of the Champions League, PSG, made 415 million euros. So Barcelona made approximately 28 million less than PSG, who won the entire competition, but nonetheless 116 million euros is well, that's pretty good amount of money. Hopefully Barcelona will be able to go further this season in the Champions League, not only for glory, but of course for money, because we need it, ladies and gentlemen. Our club is not financially safe yet. We're slowly working towards that goal, but we're not there yet. Now, on to the next bit of news, because, ladies and gentlemen, Eta Eyong, a player that Barcelona are closely tracking and considering signing for the summer transfer market as a replacement for Robert Lewandowski, could be slipping away, because today news broke that CSK Moscow, the Russian club, have offered Levante 25 million euros for Eta Eyong. And once you add in the variables and bonuses, that deal goes all the way up to 30 million euros, which is the value of Eta Eyong's release clause. Now, negotiations are currently ongoing between Levante and CSK Moscow, because they are looking for some changes for this deal. For example, they would like to receive part of the transfer fee now, because CSK Moscow's offer of 25 million is for the summer. Levante want to receive part of the transfer fee right now so they can balance their books, because, of course, under Javier Tebas, not only Barcelona are financially struggling, all the clubs in La Liga are financially struggling, because that's what happens when you mismanage a league as badly as Tebas has. But Levante want part of the transfer fee now. So they want the transfer to happen now in the winter transfer market. And they want CSK Moscow to loan back Eta Young to Levante. So in other words, Levante keep the player until the end of the season. They receive part of the transfer fee now, so they balance their books. And in the summer, Eta Young would go to CSK Moscow on a permanent transfer, and CSK Moscow finishes paying the remainder of the transfer fee of the 25 million euros. Now, Eta Young's entourage are requesting an exit clause to be included in this contract worth 40 million euros. In other words, if Eta Young continues to kill it in La Liga, summer comes, his value goes up, he decides, I don't want to go to CSK Moscow, another club can come, pay 40 million euros. CSK Moscow makes their money, Levante makes their money, and that club who pays for it gets to take the player. So we'll see whether Eta Young agrees to go to Russia, but just know that there's a serious offer on the table. The negotiations are ongoing between Moscow and Levante to try to take away one of Barcelona's targets. And of course, my question to you is, should Barcelona, advance, make a move and try to sign this player? I'm not fully convinced. Nothing against Eta Young, but he is 23. He's still young. He's still learning. He's still developing. He's still up and coming. What we need is a center forward that can hit the ground running, not someone with potential, if that makes sense. I think if Lewandowski was 32, 34 years old, sure, bring Eta Young. Keep Lewandowski for another 2-3 seasons while Eta Young develops. But we're not there, right? Lewandowski's going to be 38. We need someone ASAP. We need someone that can hit the ground running. But of course, I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts, so let me know in the comment section. Now, speaking of the transfer market, Barcelona could be receiving a cash influx during this winter, and that could be from Oscar Mingueza's transfer. Now, reports are stating that Juventus right now are in advanced talks with Celta Vigo to sign Oscar Mingueza during this winter transfer market. And of course, you might say, Mo, why do we care about a player from another team going to another team? Well, that's because Barcelona still own 50% of the rights of Oscar Mingueza. So whatever Juventus end up paying for the former Barcelona defender, then Barcelona would get half of that. Now, there are reports saying that Juventus could try to convince Oscar Mingueza to join them in the summer. If that happens, that would be a problem because Mingueza's contract expires in the summer, so he'd become a free agent. So if he does go to Juventus for free, obviously Barcelona would not get a single dime. But if Mingueza goes to Juventus now during the winter transfer market and Juventus pay for him, we get half of whatever Juventus end up paying. Now, let's end today's video with the news that one of La Masia's most promising talents, Brahim Tunkara, has been called up to Barça Athletic. Now, Brahim Tunkara is someone we talked about in past videos. He's a 15-year-old attacker currently playing for the Juvenil A, for the under-19 team under the command of Paul Planas. He has been compared to Lamine Yamal since he is a right winger, someone who is very fast, powerful, has excellent change of pace and a high-quality left foot. So now you see why he's been compared to Lamine Yamal. But Brahim Tunkara is someone at Barcelona are working on renewing his contract. Of course, he will turn 16 in March, and that's when Barcelona want him to sign his first professional contract. And now Brahim Tunkara has been called up to Barça Athletic to train under Belletti with the assumption that he could be playing for the Copa Catalunya. Now, why do I mention that? Because this just goes to show the quality of this youngster, because he's 15 years old and he's playing with the Juvenil A, with the under-19 team. He's playing with kids 4 years older than him, and now he has been called up to Barça Athletic, where he's going to be playing even against older people in their 20s, which just goes to show how advanced this youngster is. Anyways, that is all the news for this video. I did do the podcast earlier today. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out. We also announced the winner of the Barcelona 4th kick giveaway, so definitely check it out. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Visca Barça.